I just thought I should give you an update on the crazy cat lady situation. You can see my video about that and about how we got them. It's pretty neat. But I have been going back daily. In fact, I've been going back more than once a day to see if we can do anything about finding them. I gave an update yesterday, so I'm gonna attach that. But I just wanted to show you how the kitties are doing. All the way back when I was in high school, my senior year, in fact, in my senior year yearbook, I remember writing my goal and aspiration, something like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And everybody writes all these wonderful things like, I'm going to be a doctor or I'm going to be a lawyer. And I remember that I might have written other things, and it's been a long time since I've looked at that yearbook. But I do remember one thing, and it said my goal was to open an orphanage for wayward cats. And so even way back then, over 30 years ago, I was aspiring to be that crazy cat woman. And if you look behind me, you'll see that there's one coming along. That's a little bit. I didn't mention that to my husband before we got married because that could have scared him off. I don't know. I think he's suspected it over the years. I think he's been kind of catching on. But what I've noticed is that he has become a partner in crime for this operation because he's the one who brought these kittens back. So I don't feel one bit bad for continuing this crazy cat habit. But for some reason, these two have been so sweet. And then even the next one that we got, the big one, the big striped one, he is just a neat personality. They're so sweet. You know, all kittens are sweet, but some of them are a little bit more wild. And these are just, yeah, of course they've got the playful kitten in them, but they just seem like they have really sweet dispositions. Friday night, Adam and I went out and we checked a trap that I had set. I have been, ever since we found the kittens, we'd been checking like 3 times a day down where they were found and never seen anything. And so Friday night, I said, well, it's still cold enough to where if there's something in that trap, I don't want it to be stuck in there. So I want to say it's probably 10 o'clock, 9:30 or 10 that we went out, and there was no cat in the trap. Nothing had even disturbed the food. So we're like, okay. But as we drove down there, we saw a cat cross the road, and Adam said, oh, that's the one. That's one of them that I saw. So we did a long process of going in the woods, luring it out with wet food and throwing a little dry food, and that cat did not trust us at all. You could tell he was friendly, but he was scared. And so it took a long, I don't know, it probably took 30 minutes of being about 5 feet away from him and coaxing him with food. Finally, Adam was able to grab him, and he has turned out to be the sweetest cat. So sweet. Yes, a little bit skittish, but he perfectly matches the other little striped cat that we have. And obviously they're family. I don't know what relation, but they match perfectly. He's young. I would say he's probably 6 months or so. He's a small cat, but so loving. Just super loving. He's turned out to be such a sweetheart. He obviously remembers the babies because he jumps in their little bed that I made, and he sleeps with them. But then when we catch him, he jumps out like he's guilty, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in there. So it's super sweet. And I haven't given up, so I know that there's at least 2 more out there. And I know, you know, technically I should have given up, but I didn't. And so this is Monday morning. And I'll be honest with you, here, I'll tell you what happened. Adam and I went right after breakfast to check the trap, and we set it a little bit farther up the road because where we saw the cat and where they had initially been seen was probably 3/4 to a mile down the road. So He told me as soon as he saw it, he said, we caught something. And I was thinking, oh, a possum, a skunk, a raccoon. But it was a black cat with white feet. So it did match these guys. And it is one that they saw, because they were pretty sure they saw a tabby, a black one, and maybe a calico that first night. He was freaking out, just completely freaking out. And brilliant me, I messed it up. I said, let's put him in the carrier, because I wanted to leave the trap. I wanted to reset the trap. And it's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles down the road where these cats are. So I didn't want to drive home and deposit the cat and then come back. So I'm like, let's put it in the cat carrier. And Adam said, no, that's never going to work. He's going to freak out. And I'm like, no, let's just put him in there. Let's just grab him securely. Well, long story short, it didn't work. That cat freaked out, scratched Adam up, and got away. So that was completely my fault. I should have listened to him, but I didn't. So we reset the trap. Adam's like, he's never going to come back. And this is another attempt. I flopped yesterday. I really botched that attempt up when we did catch the cat. And then because of my poor decision, then we lost him. So I have no idea. He's probably too jaded to even fall for that trap again. But I'm going to try, because his brother, who we have at home, is so sweet. And we want to give him a chance if we can get him off the street. The street is no life for a cat who's been raised with a family, and I want to reunite the happy family. Wish me luck. I'm hoping for a better turnout than yesterday. Okay, no luck. Nobody has been in the trap this morning, and so we'll try again. Moment, what we have are our original bunch of cats who are always there. Little Bit, Stinker, Poppy, and of course Chuck. Everyone has seen Chuck. Everyone loves Chuck. But now we have a little striped one with the white feet, and we have the big striped one with the white feet. He's still a lot of kitten in him. And then we have the little calico one to match. Lord knew what we needed with these kittens. They have been a real joy, kind of brought some life back into our family, kind of something to look forward to amidst all the work that we're doing. And it's just been such a blessing. I mean, a super blessing. Let me just tell you. I think it was last week that I made the video that I just posted yesterday, where I had some honest confessions about my homestead burnout. And there's always something up the Lord's sleeve. It just seems to be. The Lord knew what we needed. It was just a little pick-me-up that I needed, Greg needed. The boys are loving the kittens, and they're just such good entertainment. They untie my shoelaces. They climb up Greg's legs. They have rocked the world of our other cats, of course. Poppy's not having it, and Little Bit is growling and all gruff. Stinker is kind of indifferent. She hasn't really done much toward them. And then Chuck, Charlie, has been kind of humorous to watch, because he is very playful. He's a very playful cat. He's probably a year and not quite a year and a half old, and he's just been the darling of our homestead. Super nice cat. Well, at first he was very put out. I think he was offended. I think he got his feelings hurt, because he has been the cat that everybody loves, and he still is. Well, so he stayed out for a day or two, just kind of in a huff. And yeah, he gave a few hisses, but never, he didn't really seem like he was all that angry or anything. He just seemed like he didn't know what was going on. And last night, he just couldn't resist. He was just watching those kittens, and he would just sit there like this, stoically. And he would watch them playing around him and just watch, but he wouldn't run away, and he wouldn't hiss, and they would come up and they'd bat his tail, and super sweet. Just hilarious. So last night, it's like it got the better of him. He just he ran over there with them, and he just wanted to play, and I think he's a little too much for them. But we predict that not very long, Chuck will be right there with them. because they're just so harmless. They're just, you know, and he's so harmless too. He has no enemies. We've always said that he has no enemies. The other cats always seem to make enemies, but not Chuck. So that's the update of our kittens. They're so much fun to watch. They're so much fun to play with. And they're just so sweet. The Lord knew what we needed. Don't be surprised at how the Lord leads. He may bring you something completely unexpected, and just take it and say thank you, be thankful, be grateful, and stand in awe of the ways that he has to pick you up.